लेक्चर 4 के साथ आज हम वापस आए हैं एंड वी विल डिस्कस इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस मूविंग स्लाइटली इन अ डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन फ्रॉम आवर प्रीवियस लेक्चर। आज हम पहले क्विक रिव्यू करेंगे पिछले 2 हफ्ते में मेजर जियोपॉलिटिकल और इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन टॉपिक्स का, द आइटम्स दैट मेड इट इनटू द न्यूज, व्हाई वर दे इन द न्यूज, और जो न्यूज में रिपोर्ट किया गया उसको समझे कैसे, विच इज बेसिकली बिन आवर स्टैंडर्ड प्रोसेस। सो स्टेप्स 1 एंड 2 न्यू है। आज हम पहले जब न्यूज आइटम की बात करेंगे, हम आपसे केवल ये प्रेजेंट करेंगे कि क्या मेजर इवेंट्स हुए जो इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन के पर्सपेक्टिव से एग्जाम में पूछे जा सकते हैं। दैट विल बी आवर न्यू एडिशन टू दिस प्रोसेस। We will end the lecture with a critical analysis of what was shared, what are the implications, and how does this impact us, the people of India. Right. So let's start the IR recap. Last week of May and first week of June. So the first major event that happened, the Quad FM meeting in New Delhi. It was hosted by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. सभी लोग को इनका नाम मालूम होना चाहिए, very important for the exam. It was attended by the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, the Australian FM Foreign Minister Penny Wong, and the Japanese Foreign Minister Toshimitsu Motegi. It was the third Quad foreign ministers meet since September 2024. So this becomes an important piece of information. This is the third since September 2024. There were a few, so this is an important meeting. Everyone should be aware of this. So ये हुआ 26th May 2026 को. Our foreign minister's opening remarks, now I'm reading them verbatim. As maritime democracies, pluralistic societies, and market economies, we share the responsibility towards a free and open Indo-Pacific. The region must remain a driver for global growth and stability. He went on to add that the moment will require enhancing strategic confidence, ensuring maritime security, promoting economic choices, and fostering a deep collaborative ethos. And that is best done by promoting trusted and transparent partnerships. इस इवेंट को रिपोर्ट करते समय हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर जयशंकर डॉक्टर जयशंकर ने एक एक्स पोस्ट किया, formerly Twitter. Just completed a productive quad FMM with colleagues, and उन्होंने टैग किया इस पोस्ट में तीनों जो विजिटिंग डिग्नेटरीज थे, जो फॉरेन मिनिस्टर्स थे उनको. And he went on to report that the partnership of action will also lead to the Fiji port project. We are going to be partnering on issues of port infrastructure, in particular in response to insufficient port capacity in the Pacific Islands. We are announcing plans to work with Fiji. And since the Indo-Pacific is a large, major section of the global ocean system, the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean together account for most of the trade that happens between what would be considered the first world and the third world. So it's an important meeting, very important to note. What were the concrete outcomes of this meeting? The Indo-Pacific Maritime Surveillance Initiative, and a Quad Critical Minerals Framework. And this was stated uh, also a common operating picture in the maritime domain, meaning that the countries will share with each other the information about what is happening in these open waters and have the same projected common picture. Now, what does the common picture entail? We will discuss very soon. The thing that was missing, China wasn't invited for this conversation. They are a major player, one of the world's largest economies. Um, in some sense, certain people at the policy level would make us believe that China is a competition to India. I do not believe that India is any sort of a competition to China at this point. Uh, it's sort of an inflated sense on the geographical, geopolitical scale. There are countries, leaders tend to project sometimes that India is in any way competing with China. To which end, the Chinese foreign minister uh, gave us, sorry, the Chinese spokesperson for the foreign ministry, um, Mao Ning, they gave a statement. China has stated its position on Quad multiple occasions. Cooperation between countries should be conducive to regional peace, stability, and prosperity, and not target any third party. We also do not support the formation of exclusive cliques or bloc confrontation. So, what was supposed to be a cooperative dialogue between the foreign ministers of four um, major world economies, let's say, turned into a thorn in the side of the Chinese administration. Why? China actually has a a maritime border in the Pacific Ocean. India does not. The other countries, Japan, United States, and Australia do, but India does not. And yet, India was invited and not China. This tends to show us the geopolitics in the state, the current state of geopolitics, rather, and how certain countries, under certain conditions, find India to be a better partner because they are directly competing against China and Chinese interests. So, this news information, this whole meeting, it was meant to create, a new corpus of knowledge. It was meant to create free and fair data exchange and create a more robust maritime trade between the four nations. But it was also supposed to annoy the Chinese government because they were not invited. Interesting. This whole project is about to mobilize $20 billion, and the cost sharing and who and how the money comes out from uh, at this point is not specified. Uh, Hopefully, we will not have to foot the most of the bill, but let's see. It's a mobilization target. It's not a committed funding. The court statement was read out at the meeting. Attribution of specific spoken passages to individual officials should be verified against video before using. Now, this is a recommendation. When you look at a piece of news, go directly to the source, find the video, try to make sense of the words that they're using. See, one of the things in geopolitics and international relations is the intentful obfuscation. जानबूझकर शब्द ऐसे इस्तेमाल किए जाते हैं जिनका कॉन्टेक्स्ट में मतलब बदला जा सके, राइट? तो वो कौन से शब्द हैं, उनके ऊपर हम थोड़ा और डिटेल एनालिसिस करेंगे. कब डिस्कस किया गया, कैसे डिस्कस किया गया, ये हम आपके लिए होमवर्क पे छोड़ रहे हैं. So when I speak of this meeting, look up the posts by Ministry of External Affairs, uh, the American state government, the State Department, the Australian Foreign Ministry, and the Japanese Foreign Ministry. Look up these sources. Look what they posted on their social media handles. Look at what they released on YouTube. Verify these sources. Now, if in case you find this unappealing or boring, then the Indian Foreign Services is not meant for you. सिंपल फिल्टर है ये. अगर आपको फॉरेन मिनिस्ट्री की बातें इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं लगती हैं, तो इंडिया को डिप्लोमेटिक स्टेज पर रिप्रेजेंट करने का जो दायित्व है वो शायद आपको नहीं लेना चाहिए, राइट? And this is not to dissuade people from joining the civil services. It's just that this is the job. This is what you will be doing, writing press briefings and helping have these back channel and behind closed door conversations with other diplomats. So simple, comes with the domain of the job. Now, a few things that need a sort of critical inspection. The money and authority claims. When four nations, major world economies definitely, but still just four nations out of the 200 plus nations on the planet get together, have a closed door conversation, and create a special group, a clique. That's what the Chinese minister said, that the formation of these minor subgroups between nations is not conducive to regional peace. So, in such states, we have to ask ourselves, what are the money and authority claims behind these news items? किसका पैसा और किसकी अथॉरिटी के बेसिस पर ये काम किया जा रहा है? It's an important question. Stay with the question. We shall move on to the next news topic. The state visit of Myanmar President Min Aung Hlaing. This was Min Aung Hlaing's first foreign visit since being sworn in as president in April 26, and the first country he visited. So, India visited by Myanmar's president. That's the name of the president. So the first country this president visited, their itinerary included visiting Bodh Gaya, which is on the Mahabodhi temple, the Mahabodhi Dham, Yekta monastery, and the Sujata temple. Then they visited New Delhi, where they attended the India-Myanmar Business Conclave with UMFCCI, CII, and FICCI on the 31st of May. And then they met the NTPC team at the Netra Center in Greater Noida and finally concluded the visit with talks with our Prime Minister Modi at the Hyderabad House on 1st of June. The president was received by our president, Draupadi Murmu, and calls by EM Jai Shankar and NSA Ajit Doval. So all of this happened, and what did it lead to? It led to about discussions about bilateral trade, certain security concerns, because Myanmar, again, um, has a strategic placement within the Pacific Ocean. So within the Indo-Pacific region, this is very important. Myanmar is an important nation, an important player. But in terms of the size of their economy, you know, India's economy or China's economy dwarfs them. So bilateral trade at this point stands somewhere around $2 billion between the two nations. That is an important number to know, but it is not an influential enough number for us to extend such overtures. Now, if you look at these two events, which happened back to back, first the Quad meeting, where China was excluded, second, the meeting with the Myanmar president, their first out of state visit as the president to India, not to China, to India, and the discussion of bilateral trades, development of deeper industrial relations and whatnot. Who runs these industries? Which industries, which factory owners will get these contracts? If, let's say, some Indian conglomerate was invited to Myanmar to establish production houses, a factory, an industry setup, who is the most likely Indian industrial partner? A few names come to mind, a few names that have gone on to accumulate immense amount of wealth in the last 12 years of our current government. So one wonders, bilateral trade agreement, sea trade, maritime trade, बातें इन सब मुद्दों पर हुई और जो पैसे का मुनाफा है वो कुछ प्राइवेट इंटरेस्ट्स को मिलेगा. In some of these cases, they may even get tax exemptions, which they often do. So basically, जब दो देश, इंडिया और म्यांमार जैसे देश मिलकर बात करते हैं about deepening industrial ties, the benefit is reaped by a tiny fraction of the population. And just even to say that they are a tiny fraction of the population is an oversight because technically it's a few families who are benefiting from this trade improvement. Now, I'm going to read something from the statement. Both sides agreed to facilitate and enhance bilateral trade, including through the rupee kyat settlement mechanism, meaning the rupee and kyat can be exchanged for export import purposes without having to use dollar as the intermediary currency, and appreciated the steady growth in the volume of transactions recorded since its operationalization in May 2024. So one of the conversations was the rupee kyat settlement mechanism. This is sort of problematic for the American government. India has been repeatedly talking about direct settlement mechanisms with a lot of different countries, and the United States hasn't liked that. In fact, no uh, sitting president of the United States, not just the current administration, no sitting president of the United States would like for the dollar to lose its trade position. Meaning, currently, how the trade works is payments and billing happen in individual countries' currencies, but the exchange actually happens through dollars. So Indian rupees get exchanged for dollars, dollars get converted into kyat. The use of the dollar as a currency is now being, in a lot of different contexts, removed. And the dollar is losing the hold that it used to have on the world economy, which is a good development for a lot of smaller economies, but also a sort of threat for the American administration, and particularly the global positioning of dollar as the primary currency of international trade. After this event, our Prime Minister reaffirmed India's support for sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of the Union of Myanmar, and both sides underscored the importance of preventing the misuse of sovereign territory for activities inimical to their security interests. क्या मतलब? इंडिया में टेररिस्ट कैंप्स नहीं होंगे जो म्यांमार को टारगेट करें, और म्यांमार की सरकार ये चाहती है कि म्यांमार में भी ऐसे कोई टेररिस्ट कैंप्स ना हो जो इंडिया को टारगेट करें. Now, when they talk about strategic and security interests, it becomes very broad. Security interests can also be related to certain financial transactions or certain economic, policies that one government might make that hampers the growth and development, or any sort of expansion with the other government. So these are all, under the broad umbrella category of strategic and national security interests. The Mekong Ganga ICCR scholarships were increased from 36 to 100 from 20 to 26 onwards. Uh, Now, what are these scholarships? That's your homework. This actually is a welcome development. This is something that I personally did appreciate and um, value deeply. Anything that supports further education of anyone is something that I hold in the highest regard. Unfortunately, at home, our government fails to do much about the education of our young people. To which end, today, a massive protest was held at Jantar Mantar in New Delhi by, the so-called cockroaches of our country to protest for the resignation of the current education minister. Very valid. However, within the context of international relations, kind of tangential. So coming back, look at the ICCR scholarships. These are called the Mekong Ganga ICCR scholarships. And their number has gone up from 36 to 100 starting 2026. It's still a very small number. 100 candidates to be given scholarships for higher education or research is not really going to make a big dent, but it is still better than 36. So a threefold jump. So this is news event number 2. News event number 3. The special MEA briefing, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri with Ambassador to Myanmar, Abhay Thakur, and Joint Secretary B. Shah, moderated by Ranjit Jaiswal. This is the single richest transcript that you could possibly read with regards to this meeting, with regard to this bilateral meeting, right? So the central framing from our side, from the Indian side, was our engagement with Myanmar is not intended to be a commentary on the internal political arrangements in that country. Meaning, we don't really care for how Myanmar's government has been somewhat responsible of for a genocide. We don't really care what they do internally, as long as they have good cordial economic relations with this Indian government. Similar position was held by the Indian government when engaging with the leaders of the Taliban. So the current Indian government does not hold itself accountable to any higher moral standards. Whatever is the highest standard is the strategic and national issues of strategic and national importance. Now, it again one wonders, वो कौन से ऐसे मुद्दे हैं जो इम्पोर्टेंट हैं पूरे नेशन के लिए? क्या उस मुद्दे में एक कॉरपोरेशन की या एक इंडस्ट्रीज की नई फैक्ट्री बनाना म्यांमार में इम्पोर्टेंट है पूरे देश के लिए? व्हाट अबाउट द पीपल ऑफ म्यांमार? कई सवालों कई सवाल उठाने के बाद ये तो क्लियर होता जा रहा है कि इंडिया में सरकार से सवाल पूछना अलाउड नहीं है। एटलीस्ट इट्स बीइंग फ्राउंड अपॉन। बहुत कोशिश की गई थी आज के प्रोटेस्ट को, कॉकरोच जनता पार्टी के प्रोटेस्ट को रोकने की। सुप्रीम कोर्ट में पीआईएल तक लगाई गई कि इनको अप्रूवल ना दिया जाए जंतर मंतर पे इकट्ठे होने का। सो कानूनी तौर पे और कभी कभी गैर कानूनी तौर पे भी सरकार सवाल नहीं पूछने देती। सो इस मुद्दे को लेकर, इस बायलेटरल मीटिंग को लेकर जो सवाल पूछने चाहिए एक दूसरे की सरकार को कि आप अपने सिविलियंस के साथ गलत क्यों कर रहे हैं, अपने सिटीजन्स के साथ गलत क्यों कर रहे हैं, हमारी सरकार ने एक सिंपल स्टेटमेंट इशू की। Our engagement with Myanmar is not intended to be a commentary on the internal political arrangements in that country. No matter who they oppress within their country, no matter how many people they kill, no matter which religion they ostracize, it is not our place to tell them how to govern their own country. And in return, we expect the same. So when the Indian government goes about doing things that maybe some liberal Western democracies may not approve of, तब म्यांमार की सरकार ये बात नहीं बोलेगी कि वो निराश हैं कि हिंदुस्तान की सरकार ने अपने ही नागरिकों के साथ कुछ बदसलूकी की। बिकॉज दिस इज द फाउंडेशन ऑफ द न्यू बायलेटरल डील गोइंग फॉरवर्ड। पब्लिक फोरम्स में इस तरह की बात बोलने के बाद ये काफी हद तक क्लियर हो जाता है what kind of relationships we want with certain nations. You do you and we will do us. आप अपने देश में जो चाहे कर सकते हैं, हम अपने देश में चाहे जो चाहे कर सकते हैं। किसी का भी भला, किसी का भी बुरा, नैतिक अनैतिक कैसे भी काम, लेकिन आपस में बायलेटरल ट्रेड और इकोनॉमिक बेनिफिट डिसरप्ट नहीं होना चाहिए। सो दिस इज इंटरेस्टिंग, राइट? विश्व गुरु को ऐसी बातें करना शोभा देता है शायद, या नहीं देता। आई विल नॉट टेक अ पोजिशन ऑन दिस। दिस इज लेफ्ट टू the aspirants of this examination, the budding diplomats of our nation to decide and work upon. The last leader of Myanmar, Aung San Suu Kyi, उनके साथ क्या हो रहा है? She was imprisoned for majority of her life, house arrest, but still, restricted movement. When she came to power, genocidal violence followed her ascent to power. Now she's no longer in power. What is happening with her? When she was the leader of Myanmar, she was a great close friend of our Prime Minister Modi, as can be found in the public domain by posts by the Prime Minister's office. So, what is happening with her? Particularly in the context of the ongoing internal peace process within the country of Myanmar? Important question to ask. They talked about defense cooperation. Defense against whom? One wonders. A lot of people have been repatriated from India to Myanmar. So-called illegal immigrants were sent back. What about the question of citizenship that this raises, the idea of immigration? Who or rather, which country do people actually belong to? A country where someone is born, a country where someone finds a quality of life worth living, somewhere someone finds meaning in work. किस देश को बिलोंग करते हैं हम? वो देश जो हमें जन्म देता है, जिस मिट्टी पर हम पैदा हुए, जिस देश में हमारे पास रोजगार है, जिस देश में हमारे इंटरेस्ट्स का, हमारे कल्चर का, हमारे नीड्स का ख्याल रखा जाता है, किस देश के सिटीजन हैं हम? सो जब रिपेट्रिएशन की बात आती है, especially on topics of illegal immigrants, it becomes important to ask this. Moreover, is it truly illegal to exist and yearn for an improved life? It's a philosophical question, not a political or legal question, because yes, by the law, it is illegal to be in another country without due process. What that process is obviously varies. Most nations on this planet allow for rich beneficiaries to buy a long-term visa or a permit of stay. So it's not actually a matter of law, then, is it? It's a matter of who can pay the price of admission to get into a particular country. Recently, H1B वीजा को लेकर यूएस के साथ कुछ परेशानी उठी थी। तो H1B वीजा की फीस बढ़ा दी गई डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्टेट ने। $1 लाख फीस कर दी गई। 2 लाख लोगों ने वो $1 लाख की फीस दी है। Multiply the two together, and you will get an idea about the scope of how tilted the balance of the law is in the favor of the rich immigrants. So, इतनी आमदनी अमेरिका की सरकार की केवल अमेरिका में घुसने की टिकट बेचकर हो गई। म्यांमार के पास ऑब्वियसली म्यांमार के नॉट डिमांड $1 लाख, $100,000। म्यांमार नहीं डिमांड कर सकता, नंबर इज मच लेसर। Our Prime Minister also stated Myanmar lies at the confluence of India's neighborhood first, Act East, Mahasagar policies. Both sides agreed to facilitate and enhance bilateral trade and appreciate the steady growth in the volume of transactions of the rupee kyat mechanism. So, Act East क्या है? महासागर क्या है? And India's neighborhood first क्या है? ये कौन सी 3 पॉलिसीज हैं जो कि इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने रिलीज की हैं? रेफर टू these names are here for your reference. Read them up. Read about them, learn as much as you can, and then assimilate that knowledge to write the exams. One of the things that came up during this visit was one particular question by a journalist at The Hindu. सी म्यांमार के पास बहुत सारे ऐसे क्रिटिकल एलिमेंट्स हैं, उनके पास आयरन, मतलब ये सॉरी नॉट आयरन, ओर्स और मिनरल्स ऐसे हैं जो कि क्रिटिकल हैं टू न्यू एज टेक्नोलॉजीज, heavy metals, lithium and such. A lot of these metals are actually found in some places of the world where they are on the sea, part of the beaches, part of the sand. So, heavy metals that break down through volcanic eruptions and from the seabed, they arrive at the beaches of certain nations. So, India के कुछ beaches पे, for example, thorium है, right? So, obviously not in the most radioactive form, but can still be extracted. So, इस तरह के मिनरल्स के लिए ये बात की गई थी, इस तरह के मिनरल्स के लिए डील हो रही थी। तो कालोल भट्टाचार्य जी ने एक सवाल पूछा, इज इट रियली एथिकल टू एंगेज दिस पर्टिकुलर लीडर who did not even get elected through a fair election. Everyone knows that the election was fraudulent. Is critical mineral exploration the main driving factor in this visit? To which the policymakers and the diplomats sitting in the briefing replied that they have civilizational ties. इलेक्शन की चोरी की गई है शायद म्यांमार की सरकार बनाने में, ऐसा कई सेक्टर्स में, कहीं कई सोर्सेस से न्यूज इंफॉर्मेशन में आ चुका है। तो इस संदर्भ में हमारी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स की दी गई स्टेटमेंट कि वो अपने देश में क्या करते हैं उससे हमें परवाह नहीं है, डज नॉट बिफिट द वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट एंड सो कॉल्ड ओल्डेस्ट डेमोक्रेसी। इन फैक्ट इट हिंट्स एट द अदर थिंग कि अगर हमें आपके देश में हो रही इलेक्शन चोरी से तकलीफ नहीं है, तो अगर इन केस हमारे देश में इलेक्शन की चोरी हो तो आपको उससे तकलीफ नहीं होनी चाहिए। The Western press, the media in the West had a particular framing that इंडिया और म्यांमार अपने रिलेशंस इसलिए बढ़ा रहे हैं क्योंकि इंडिया की एब्सेंस में चाइनीज इंटरेस्ट्स माइट टेक ओवर दैट स्पेस, एंड व्हेन दे डू टेक ओवर दैट स्पेस, दैट वैक्यूम of a strong big economy supporting Myanmar's government, legitimate or not, is strategically detrimental to India. Important. The Europe tour of our Prime Minister, the Norway Press Freedom Row, and Italy's strategic special partnership. Now, although this happened in the third week of May, I am going to touch upon this because um, जो ये जो विजिट था उनका, जो यूरोप भ्रमण था जो 5 दिन का चला, 15 से 20 मई तक, बट इसका जो डिस्कशन था वो स्पिल ओवर हुआ है पिछले 2 हफ्तों में। नॉर्वे में जो प्रेसिडेंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी को कॉल आउट किया गया जॉइंट अपीयरेंस के पास बाद की, बोल पूछा गया, व्हाई डोंट यू टेक सम क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द फ्रीएस्ट प्रेस इन द वर्ल्ड? Norway's press has been labeled and ranked the freest press because they ask the most direct questions to the people who are actually in charge. That's what apparently gives freedom to the press, to ask questions of the people in charge. तो जिन लोगों को सत्ता में इलेक्शन के दौरान बिठाया गया, इलेक्शन करके वोट देकर बिठाया गया, उस सत्ता से सवाल पूछना नागरिकों की केवल जिम्मेवारी नहीं है, उनका अधिकार भी है। ये बात नॉर्वे के जर्नलिस्ट जानते हैं। तो नॉर्वे की प्रेस को दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा फ्री प्रेस का नाम दिया गया है, रैंकिंग दी गई। The Indian embassy then had a fallout with the said journalists. They tried to hold an event, a dialogue, in which the MEA Secretary of the West, CB George, was asked, why should we trust you? Can you try to stop the human rights violation that goes on in your country? And George's response was, this is my press conference. He cited the Constitution, the guarantee of freedoms of thought, expression, belief, and worship, not the freedom of speech. मनचाहा सवाल नहीं पूछ सकते हैं आप, सोच सकते हैं, विश्वास कर सकते हैं और पूजा कर सकते हैं। Called India's elections a festival of democracy? Hardly the case. Invoked yoga, chess, vaccine diplomacy. Said the critics read 1 or 2 reports published by some god-forsaken ignorant NGOs and then come and ask questions. कौन है वो ignorant NGO जिसने ये दूसरे देशों को, इनफैक्ट ग्लोबल स्टेज पर ये प्रेजेंट किया कि इंडिया में कुछ पर्टिकुलर माइनॉरिटीज के साथ गलत किया जा रहा है? ऑब्वियसली वो एनजीओ की समझ ये नहीं थी। इंडिया की सबसे बड़ी मेजोरिटी है गरीब लोगों की, उन सभी के साथ गलत किया जा रहा है। तो माइनॉरिटी का केवल ऑपरेशन नहीं हो रहा है यहाँ गरीब मेजोरिटी का सक्सेसिव और सिस्टमैटिक ऑपरेशन हो रहा है। तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है, ये रिपोर्ट तो भ्रमित है, राइट? या भ्रमित करने का एक नया तरीका है। खैर, आगे बढ़ते हैं। सो ये इंटरेक्शन हुआ हमारे डिप्लोमेट से वी जॉर्ज के साथ, एंड he did hold the official line, which was to talk about how brilliant India has been contributing to the world trade, global economics, global knowledge creation, not from today, but uh, from thousands of years ago. आज इंडिया क्या करता है, इस पर चर्चा बहुत कम की गई। हमारे बहुत सारे ऐसे काम जो पिछले सिविलाइजेशन से रिलेटेड हैं, जो लिंक्ड हैं, इनफैक्ट जिनको ट्रेस नहीं किया जा सकता, जिनका ओरिजिन ढूंढा नहीं जा सकता, उनके ऊपर इंडियन स्टैंप लगाकर उनको अपना वैल्यू, अपना वर्थ इन्फ्लेट करने का एक नजरिया दिया गया। Domestically, Rahul Gandhi and Mohima Mitra amplified the episode. Both of these are very vocal people. A Norwegian newspaper ran a snake charmer cartoon of Modi, where our Prime Minister Modi has charmed the nation like a snake charmer, जो बीन बजाते हैं सांप के आगे, उस तरह से हमारे प्राइम प्रधानमंत्री के ऊपर एक जोक बनाया गया नॉर्वे के एक न्यूज़पेपर में। बीबीसी हिंदी को उस नॉर्वे के जर्नलिस्ट ने एक कमेंट दिया, हमने कहा, आई नो दैट योर प्राइम मिनिस्टर डज नॉट लाइक टू टेक क्वेश्चंस, बट इट वाज माय ड्यूटी टू आस्क। इट इज इम्पेरेटिव इन एनी डेमोक्रेसी कि सवाल पूछे जाएं उन लोगों से जो सत्ता में बैठे हैं। अगर वो सवाल नहीं पूछे जाएंगे तो वो डेमोक्रेसी नहीं है, वो लोकतंत्र नहीं है, वो राज है। राज, शासन और लोकतंत्र तो बहुत अलग अलग चीजें हैं। डेमोक्रेसी का काम सवाल पूछने की राइट और सवाल पूछने की रिक्वायरमेंट को पूरा करने का होता है। और ऐसा कोई सवाल नहीं है जो एक नागरिक अपने इलेक्टेड प्राइम मिनिस्टर से ना पूछ पाए। अगर प्राइम मिनिस्टर के पास जवाब नहीं है तो वो ये बोल सकते हैं कि उनके पास जवाब नहीं है, बट सवाल पूछने देने से ही रोक देना डेमोक्रेटिक ट्रेडिशन नहीं है, डेमोक्रेसी का पार्ट नहीं है। Then our Prime Minister ended that Europe trip with a visit to Italy, where the India-Italy joint declaration was made. And the two leaders decided Italy's Meloni, and this particular incident was also famous because हमारे प्रधानमंत्री मेलोडी टॉफी लेकर गए प्राइम मिनिस्टर मेलोनी के लिए। मेलोडी क्यों? क्योंकि मेलोनी और मोदी के कपल्ड नाम को मेलोडी बोला जा रहा था बहुत सारे न्यूज आउटलेट्स में, तो वो उनके लिए एक टॉफी का डब्बा लेगा जिसका नाम है मेलोडी। पार्ले को काफी मुनाफा होने वाला है उससे। Noting the impressive growth and deepening ties of India-Italy's special strategic partnership, the two leaders reaffirmed their commitment to further expand cooperation across all sectors. The two prime ministers reaffirmed their commitment to cooperate on the India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. क्या है ये? The India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. What is this? Look it up. Find out why it's relevant. Find out how the Iran war is affecting this. Find out why do we need to do this. And you will discover that this strategic partnership, again, tends to benefit the same family names who are going to be benefited by our improved relations with Myanmar, by the Quad Ministers meeting, the same family names. तो ये प्रशासन का नागरिकों के लिए, नागरिकों के हित में लिया गया डिसीजन या पॉलिसी एक्शन नहीं दिखाई देता है। इनफैक्ट अगर इसको थोड़ा सा भी समझा जाए तो ये रियलाइज होता है कि जॉब क्रिएशन के नाम पर जो फैक्ट्री बनाई जाती है किसी एक देश से दूसरे देश में, उस फैक्ट्री से आने वाला मुनाफा किन लोगों की जेब में जाता है? क्योंकि वर्कर तो गरीब ही रहेगा, ब्लू कॉलर वर्कर तो हमेशा ही ब्लू कॉलर वर्कर रहेगा, वो तो गरीब है। फैक्ट्री के फ्लोर पे काम करने वाला कोई भी ऐसा नागरिक नहीं है जो 10, 20, 25 साल के बाद ये बोले कि अब शौकिया रिटायर हो सकता हूं, मैं अपने घर पे बैठकर साधारण ही चाहे बट एक जीवन ऐसा जी सकता हूं जिसमें मुझे इतना हार्ड लेबर ना करना पड़े। ऐसा कोई फैक्ट्री वर्कर नहीं। तो फैक्ट्री से आने वाला मुनाफा जाता कहाँ है, ये पूछना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बन जाता है, राइट? The declaration does not use the phrase civilizational ties, natural partners, shared values और convergence. ये सब वो phrases हैं जो म्यांमार के साथ इस्तेमाल किए गए थे, बट इटली के साथ इस्तेमाल नहीं किए गए। Its preferred register is renewed momentum, strong momentum, growing dynamism, shared objective, shared commitment, core drivers, deepening of defense cooperation, resilient supply chains, and rule-based international order. इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर का रूल दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी इकोनॉमी सेट करती हैं। तो रूल बेस्ड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर में भरोसा है इटली के और इंडिया की सरकार को। Another thing that was another set of remarks that were made, ancient languages like Sanskrit and Latin come from the same language family. This shows that our relationship is not just one of diplomacy, but of shared heritage. And the solution to all problems should be through dialogue and diplomacy. डायलॉग में टिपिकली दो या दो से अधिक पार्टीज आपस में बात करते हैं। डाई मतलब दो, लॉग मतलब बोलना, तो डायलॉग टिपिकली दो पार्टीज में होता है। अगर एक पार्टी सवाल पूछ ले और उसको चुप करा दिया जाए तो क्या वो डायलॉग कहलाएगा? We are going to conclude today's lecture with one discussion of the India-China 35th WMCC border talks, which happened on in the last week of May. The border dispute still stands. So our Joint Secretary of East Asia, Sujit Ghosh, met the Chinese Secretary for Asia, Hu Yangqi, and Director General of the Boundary of Oceanic Affairs and Department. That's what their official title is. Ghosh also met Liu Jinzong, called on the Assistant Foreign Minister Hong Lei. Now, the MEA release after this meeting was the discussions were constructive and forward looking. The two sides renewed the situation in the India China border areas. They expressed satisfaction with the progress made in maintaining peace and tranquility in the border areas, which has enabled progress towards gradual normalization of bilateral relations. Issues covered delimitation, border management, mechanism building, and cross border cooperation. India stressed on early meeting of the next expert-level mechanism on trans-border rivers. Both sides agreed to prepare for the next special representative talks to be held in China. It's been 6 years since the Chinese incursion in eastern Ladakh, and there has been troop disengagement in October 2024. But there has been no progress on the de-escalation along the LAC, especially in eastern Ladakh. सवाल उठता है ये कब होगा फिर? अगर पीस और ट्रैंक्विलिटी बॉर्डर्स पे, इंडिया और चाइना के बॉर्डर्स पे बना दी गई है, अगर पीसफुल और ट्रैंक्विल सिचुएशंस पैदा हो गई हैं, ट्रैंक्विल मतलब पीस से एक लेवल और आगे जाकर शांत सद्भावना के साथ, तो ईस्टर्न लद्दाख के एलएसी के पास लाइन ऑफ एक्चुअल कंट्रोल में ईस्टर्न लद्दाख सेक्टर में अभी तक ये नॉर्मलसी क्यों नहीं मेंटेन की गई? Now, we do on a lot of topics talk about who does this actually impact. हर इंटरनेशनल इवेंट में, हर जियोपॉलिटिकल इवेंट में ये सवाल पूछने इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाते हैं। क्या किसी भी जियोपॉलिटिकल इवेंट में आम नागरिकों का, आम जनता का हित है, किसी देश के स्पेसिफिक इंडस्ट्रियल कॉम्प्लेक्स का हित है, कुछ इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट, कुछ फैमिलीज का हित है, या कुछ और अदर पार्टीज हैं जिनका इंटरेस्ट है इन सब मामलों में? ये सवाल पूछने अनिवार्य हैं, not just for the sake of this examination, but for us to really find our place in the world. Moreover, if you do become a diplomat, you will be representing on paper the people of India, but you will be making deals for the industrials, the industrialists, the industrial interests, and you will often find yourself in the same room as these other interested parties. इनको lobbyists बोला जाता है। ये लोग लॉबी करते हैं कुछ डिसीजंस करने की, ताकि कुछ लोगों का, एंड अल्टीमेटली ऑल ऑफ इट बॉइल्स डाउन टू मनी एंड पावर। हर सरकार और ज्यादा से ज्यादा पावर कंसोलिडेट करना चाहती है, और हर इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट ज्यादा से ज्यादा पैसा कमाना चाहता है। द interests that get most often overlooked are the interests of the people of India, or not just the people of India, the people of any nation, the common people, आम जनता, नागरिक, सिविलियंस। उनके इंटरेस्ट्स के, उनके हित के बारे में काफी लिमिटेड तौर पे ही सोचा जाता है इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस और जियोपॉलिटिकल इवेंट्स में। सो आज का इनविटेशन फॉर होमवर्क इज सच। आज के लेक्चर में कुछ टॉपिक्स, कुछ आइटम्स स्क्रीन पर लिखे गए, उनके बारे में गूगल कीजिए, रिसर्च कीजिए इंटरनेट पर जाकर, पढ़िए कि वो क्या बातें थी, क्या चीजें थी, और उन चीजों को समझने की कोशिश कीजिए कि आम जनता के ऊपर इनका क्या प्रभाव पड़ने वाला है। क्या आम जनता, आम नागरिक इन सब मुद्दों से प्रभावित होंगे? जिसका जवाब है हाँ। बट क्या उनको कोई मुनाफा होगा? शायद, शायद नहीं। तर्क आपको करना है, रिसर्च आपको करना है। सोचिए, समझिए, पढ़िए, मेहनत करते रहिए। लेक्चर 5 के साथ लौटेंगे हम अगले हफ्ते। तब तक के लिए ऑल द बेस्ट। कीप योर थिंकिंग कैप्स ऑन।